Hello and welcome everybody to Spreading the Nerd, episode 40. I'm your host, Clint Coombs, and as always, joining me is Mr. Rick Davis. How are you, sir?
I'm doing. Glad we're at the weekend. This is a long ass week, and those of us with what's the matter? Not good water.
Well, I a great way to start the show here, whatever. But
Um,
like, I have like a deck in the back windows or the sliding doors open, and it sounds like there's an 18-wheeler truck slamming on its brakes, but I just have woods over there, so I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe it's like some horror ritual call that's going on out there. I don't know.
maybe.
But anyways, back to you.
I don't know what I say. I think I was saying something like those of us who, are God's children don't have to work this weekend. Are you looking forward to being off this weekend, Clint? Oh wait, that's right. You're not off this weekend.
I am not. I am working Saturday. Sadly, it's part of that getting into that busy season of work, so I have to work Saturday, and I've already had a long week. I think I'm at 52 hours already, and I have a
There's a
full
lot.
day tomorrow, so I'm like,
Oh, you
sweet.
got a full 8 hour day.
Yeah, and then I'll hopefully be able to like crash through on Saturdays. I just usually blast through, so hopefully. But yeah, I had to get up at 5 this morning to drive almost 2 hours south to do a meeting. Sat in a room with like 40 other people, just banging my head on against the table. but but yeah, that's
I tell you what, in solidarity, I will sleep 1 extra hour for you tomorrow.
what a guy. What a guy, a true friend.
I got you.
There's maybe it's thunder that was in the distance because now it's thunder. And so if
Yeah,
I lose,
well, I know we're supposed to be getting thunderstorms here this
yeah,
evening, so
if I lose power, I'm sorry.
same. I might too. I don't know.
Because this area that I'm at now, because I moved here in March, I've lost power here multiple times already. And the last place I lived there for 9 years. I didn't lose power one time, not once. And now that I'm making it up for it here, because it's like the wind blows and I lose fucking power here. It sucks.
Somehow, spreading the nerd seems to be infested with people who live in the middle of friggin' nowhere.
It's true.
You,
It's true.
you and Silken, you guys live off the grid sometimes. I swear to God.
Silken, it's even more so. I think.
Jesus. When he said he was like 6.5 hours from Quebec City or whatever, I was like, what?
Are there even?
I was like, do you live with the Inuit or whatever they're called up in that the Nuvoi or whatever that province is in Canada? What the hell is 6 hours from Quebec City?
Not much. As I think there's, I could look it up, but I'm pretty sure like something like 70% of the Canadian population, I could be talking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure this is true, that like 70% or something like of the Canadian population lives all within the 30 miles north of the United States border type of thing. And everything else is just like good luck.
I mean, I could believe that because it does get
It's something like that.
It gets pretty frigid up there when you get
yeah.
Well, I mean, 30 miles might be a little pushing it, but I get what you're saying. Like pretty close to the border as opposed to up through it. I mean, its largest province is that one, like I said, Neuvid or whatever it's called, and it has like 100,000 people in the entire thing.
Spreading the nerd is now a geography.
Yes,
that we don't actually really know.
We should get Silken on one time to talk about Canada. I don't know how long he's actually lived there, so he might.
He does say everyone is near the border and near the coasts. Yeah, I thought I heard something like that. I'll have to look up the actual fact.
I know. Is it Winnipeg is pretty far north, but that's one of the like very few cities that is like not near the border.
Right.
Hey,
yeah, freight conductor. It's soon to be the new America, apparently.
So Silken has lived 1/4 of his life in
what a guy
in Canada.
So what have you been playing this week? Anything?
A little of this, a little of that, a little bit of Doom Dark Ages.
Yep.
This week was the week of updates for games, so I've been kind of bouncing in and out a couple of those.
There was a lot of updates.
There was a lot. There's a lot of big ones. Outlaws, Kingdom Come, and Stalker leading the charge there. But yeah. Primarily some Doom, as well as Doom Eternal. I was kind of rolling through that a bit before that, and unfortunately, in retrospective, probably not the best idea because it actually does make Dark Ages a little bit worse in comparison. But obviously, I did not know that prior to Dark Ages coming out. Obviously, so
yeah, we'll definitely get into some Doom impressions because that's kind of I have played some Doom. Like I said, I've been busy with work. Played some WoW, of course, sadly. And what else did I play this week? I really haven't played much. I played a little bit more of.
Well, I know what you didn't play. That was Hollow Knight, of course.
I've never even heard of that game.
Yeah, so what I just said probably just your audio cut out while I said it. Right?
My earbuds just lost connection. Yeah. The power went out real quick. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah. It went out somewhere. I could see the light leaving your eyes as I said it. Yeah.
Played a little bit of Expedition 33. A little bit further into Act 2 now. Really liking it. I liked it before, and I'm liking it more now.
It's become almost a chore for me to almost have to force myself to play it at this point.
Oh, really?
And I apologize. The dog is barking like crazy.
No, you're fine. That's fine.
My wife should be home soon, so it should stop. But she may even be home now, and she hears her. I don't know. But
she's like, whatever. That's what you get. Yeah, it sucks that I mean, there's been plenty of games out there that have been, widely just like, this is the best. This is, you got to play this game, like Red Dead Redemption 2, which when I first played it
is accurately described that way, as opposed to Expedition 33, which is not accurately described that
way. But for me, you're struggling with Expedition 33. That was me with Red Dead. And I know it's a good game, but I don't know. I got to revisit it with a clearer mind or something.
It's an amazing game. It is not a good game. It is an amazing game.
Especially with news that it's hopefully getting a an update on the Series X and PlayStation.
Rumor. We're nowhere near news at this point. Yeah, it's a rumor, but hopefully accurate because people have been asking for that since 2020. So
yeah, which it should. I mean, as popular as that game is, Jesus.
Well, and by the same token, the word was spreading this week that maybe the long-wanted GTA 4 remaster might be making its way to consoles too. And
I did not hear that.
Yeah, well, that one needs it pretty badly for sure. Bear in mind now, Red Dead 2 you can't. GTA 4 rather. There's no way to play it natively on PlayStation. I mean, outside of playing on PS3.
Is there not really?
Yeah, because it's a PS3 game. There's no backwards compatibility.
Oh, that's true.
So if they're streaming, and I don't think it is on a streaming service, so there is no way to play that on a PS4 or a PS5. And the reality is that game does need a little bit of touch up, a little bit of love. Because a lot of people actually like it even more than 5, but it definitely needs some modernization in terms of controls and certainly upscale. The game was pretty amazing when it came out, but you got to remember it came out in 2008. So
yeah, it's crazy.
If you ever load up the 360 version of it, it looks like somebody threw a bunch of dust on your screen at times because it runs at a very, very low resolution.
It is crazy how long, it's since we're getting GTA 6 next year after it's been delayed or whatever. But how long it's been since we've had a GTA. And I try to think about that.
12 years since a new one.
Yeah, it's just insane. Whereas before, it was a year between the one of them, and it was just a couple years. And now
yes, although let's be perfectly clear here, they are monumentally improved compared to what
for sure, for sure.
I have long said a lot of people say that their favorite is Vice City. Go play Vice City, and you tell me it's your favorite because the reality is of the 5. Since the switch to 3D, it's easily the worst, and it's not even an opinion. It is easily the worst of the 5.
I think I love.
Everybody likes it because of the stupid 80s setting, but the reality is, it was the worst game. It was by far the worst location. The Vice City itself only looked cool for 1/4 of the map, and the entire rest of it was terrible because it was a giant square basically, and the whole second half, the whole second island, if you will, was just. It was the airport and then a bunch of Haitian slums and stuff like that. Like what you think of that looks cool is the neon lit stuff, but that's a very small part of it.
Yeah. I think the reason I liked it so much was because Ray Liotta played the character, who I love, and the music, and that's what I associate Vice City with.
I've always said there were 3 things about Vice City that were good, and really only 3. One was the fact that it actually, I mean, 3 had a story, but it had a story that was more of the point, obviously. 2 was the addition of bikes.
Yeah.
And 3 was Love Fist, because Love Fist were fucking hilarious. that was that 80s rock band that was in it. And then actually they had a song in 4 and maybe in 5, I don't remember. But they were pretty damn funny. That said, the rest of that game was genuinely not good. However, 3 was good. And San Andreas was amazing. I genuinely can't understand how anybody can say Vice City was better.
San Andreas was one of those games that blew me away of like, holy shit, this is on the PlayStation 2 that is like this. This is crazy.
When San Andreas was coming out, I actually was not even all that interested in it because Vice City had actually kind of like sapped a lot of interest for me. And I'm like, man, that actually does look kind of cool. And I went on God. I'm like, oh God, I can't believe I actually even remotely compared this to Vice City. This is so much better.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh, I played a shitload of San Andreas. That game
San Andreas was great. It's on mobile, by the way. So if you ever want to play it, you can take it anywhere you want.
It's also on PS5 and
it's on Netflix. It's everywhere.
I really don't need to. I really don't need to play it on mobile.
And like Caleb said, Grand Theft Auto 4 is the first time his character I went up the stairs and you could actually see the character take one step at a time.
I know somebody who didn't play Metal Gear Solid 2 then, because that came out long before GTA 4, and in fact an entire platform before it, and he did it.
And to be fair, though, the amount of details, this is like the whole RNG aspect of Spray the Nerd, we're just going off here. The amount of details that are in a Rockstar game for being an open world game is insane. And I think it was 4, and maybe it was 5. It might have been 5, where the flip-flop shoes actually flip-flopped.
That was 5. That was 5.
That was 5. And I just remember being like absolutely stunned by that. And then like
you actually hear it like
and if you slow it down, you see it stick to the ground and then plop up. It's just nuts.
Well, and then I've heard people say that like that 5 wasn't that graphically impressive. I'm like, I don't know where you were in 2013, but you sure weren't playing Grand Theft Auto 5 then, because it was real freaking impressive at the time. There are still details that people are noticing every once in a while. Like if you walk into the water in that, you only get wet up to where. Now, I mean, that's not so much of a deal now, but it was in 2013.
Right? Yeah.
You actually only get wet up to where your clothes and stuff that are submerged. No, I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. There are only 2 studios in the entire world that have that absolutely meticulous attention to detail, and it is Rockstar and it is Naughty Dog. Nobody else is anywhere near that attention to detail in every single little facet of everything that they do.
Yeah, like in Red Dead Redemption 2, when you're going by like a construction site or they're building something, and when they're hammering, the nails actually go into the wood. It's just crazy.
And I mean, I always say, look at the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 2. There is entire animations in that game that you see one time and never see again, because they are made for that beginning segment. Yep. I know people didn't like it. That's not the point. The point is that is how meticulous they are with every little detail. Is they want every animation to be perfect, even if you never see it for the rest of the game. Another one is GTA 5. This is I guess a mid-game spoiler, but there's a point where you go scuba diving, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the flippers ever again. Even you can get the scuba suit later, but you don't get the flippers with it. Well, it doesn't change the fact that he has an actual like special swimming animation when he uses the flippers.
Just for that one area and time. Yep. Which is the amount of dev time it takes. It's just crazy.
Rockstar is absolutely insane. I mean, I keep saying, like, one simple frame of that GTA 6 trailer immediately shows you the attention to detail. The very beginning, when you see Jason working on the roof of whatever building that is, and that guy's calling to him, and he gets down and walks into the house, the detail on his bare back is
it's
insane.
nuts.
It is insane. Like, his muscles are moving in different ways depending on how he is moving. It's like, Again, those two teams are the only ones in the world who do that. Nobody else does that.
Someone slowed it down. It was on his back, and someone slowed it down to like 3 times or whatever. And as he's walking, you can see the muscles moving up his back. And then there was one of a person laying down in the background without a shirt off, and there was focusing on the 2 characters, but also like zoomed in on the back. And like the person laying down, you could see his chest moving up and down. And like for an open world game is insane.
Here's a fairly mind-blowing detail that I noticed a long time ago, and I don't think I've seen too many other people comment on it, so I don't know how people have noticed this. This is on GTA 4 on 360 or PS3, it doesn't matter, right? So a game from 2008, I believe, was when it came out. Maybe 7, I don't remember. It's running at maximum resolution, 720p, right? And reality,
the good old days.
So you know how 4 was one that brought up the ability to use your phone. You tapped up and it brought it up. One time when you do that, like just go load backwards compatibility version of that on for the 360 version. Bring up your phone and position the camera over your shoulder, because in that game, back on 360, the phone in your hand actually has exactly what it is showing you. It's hard to see because you actually have to like get to a point. Like the camera in 4 was further back than it was in 5. And in 5 it does the same thing, but it was obviously even more impressive in 4. If you can get your back to like a wall and get the camera behind it so that it like forces itself to zoom in, you can see that it says phone book and contacts and all that stuff. And when I first saw it, I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Like I can't believe it does that, because that's something you would, and only in a very specific circumstance would you ever even know that was there. And I noticed it because, you know, I was looking around coming out of Nico's first safe house or whatever, and I was using the phone, and I noticed the black bar that highlights what you're using. I noticed it moving on the phone in his hand, and I was like, no, there's no way. And I got it so I could see it. I was like, it actually has the actual phone. Like,
that's crazy.
What it shows you is not just a prop. It actually is a basically magnified version of what is in his hand. Crazy. So like if you go to the phone book, you'll see the list of names just like you do on the one. I'm like that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I remember with Grand Theft Auto 4 when the first phone thing, like, it was super cool. And that was for the first time, I think that was like the first game that had like a mobile phone, like, you know. For me, anyways. Did. Yeah. Oh, San Andreas did. Yeah.
You weren't able to like freely make calls like you can in 4.
Yeah.
But they would call you on it.
But yeah, I can talk. When the phone, and like you said, all the stuff you could actually do in the Grand Theft Auto 4 phone, I was like, this is almost a little bit too much for me. Like, actually, and of course it was great. But
did you realize that there's actually a phone game in GTA 4? It was like a version of Snake.
I think I heard of it, but I didn't play it. Yeah,
like it doesn't tell you it's there, but if you go into like the phone settings in the game, you see it. It's called like Bomb Rush or something like that. It's basically just Snake. But I'm like, like good old Rockstar, man. That's the shit they do.
So good.
Well, welcome to Grand Theft Auto Cast.
Yeah, apparently, we just kind of went on a tangent there for like 18 or 15 minutes, but whatever.
We did not get to discuss 6's trailer last week since one of us was not here. So
where was? Oh yeah, I was upstate New York, which
you were fucking up in Boston. No, you were in Boston. Oh no, Friday you were in.
Would have rather been here.
Wow, you hear that, son? I'd have rather been here.
It's too far of a drive. God,
that is a long drive.
It is. Yes, Silken.
I knew Silken it would be getting triggered.
He's not a huge GTA fan, which whatever, that's fine.
He needs to play Red Dead though.
I think he would like Red Dead.
Even though I wasn't. I'm not a Western guy either. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Those are two of the very finest games ever made.
Before we get into PAX and other stuff, do you want to do the questions for the show this week?
Sure.
I don't think we have a huge amount, but there's a decent amount in there.
Actually, still can play the first one first, because 2 is a sequel or a prequel.
Oh, you never played the first one?
Yeah, I don't think he ever played Red
Dead.
Dead.
Definitely play the first one. Now, I have
yeah.
said I haven't quite enjoyed Red Dead 2, and that is definitely on me. The first one, phenomenal. Anyway.
I think 2 is much better, but it also is made better if you have played the first. I mean, it is a prequel, and you don't have to have played it, to be fair, but it does make 2 better.
Oh man, the first one was so good. Now, before we get on a tangent on that, like, oh my god. Questions. The question of the week. Go ahead.
Yeah, so all like 2 people have answered it this week. Here we go. That said, you better think, because I didn't think of another question for this week.
I got one. Oh, for a question, I might take me to the end, but
let's see. All right, so I kind of did it as a bit of an add-on for the previous question, and I said for this one, pick a game that you like. The more you like it, the better. But a system, mechanic, whatever that is not in it that you would like to see added to it, whether because you think it would improve it, obviously, or just it would improve your enjoyment of it, right? And I did this because I had a very specific one in mind actually at the time, and I have always said I actually wish that Witcher 3, one of the also very best games of all time, and very much peak of open world games, right? I wish that it had optional survival mechanics. Optional. I want to be clear about that. Like not required.
Right.
But I do wish that he had like a hunger, a thirst, and a like sleep meter. And then I even said if they really wanted to go into it because of, especially when you're in Skellige, add a like a thermal meter, right? Like if you're too warm or too cold. There's not really too many areas where you'd be too warm, but there's certain areas where you'd be too cold, especially in Skellige. I thought that would have been awesome. Alejandro Segovia said he would put that's his name. Don't laugh.
I know. It's just very fancy the way you said it.
I tried to put a little Spanish flair.
I feel like you should have a
little
cup of wine with you or something.
He would put the Uncharted 3's grenade return and melee mechanics. Now, I can't say I remember there being melee return mechanics, so I'll have to take his word for that. Uncharted 3. But the melee, I can definitely agree with, because like I actually did like it in 4, even though it was really just 2 buttons. But in 3, it was actually pretty cool how dynamic it was. And if you were like I just remember the one like market stall when you're fighting somebody. If you play your cards right, you can grab a big old fish and hit the guy with it. I don't think it's a tuna. I don't think it's quite big enough to be a tuna, but it is a big fish, and it makes like this weird like it's like just this dull slapping sound when you do it.
There was for Uncharted 4, I think that was one. It's been a while. I've actually want to replay the series, but Uncharted 4, I think there was a setting in that game where I went through half the game where I did not like the shooting mechanics in it. And I think there was a setting in it that I changed, and then all of a sudden I like loved it.
Uncharted 4 had great shooting mechanics.
What? I mean, I want to say it was 4.
Did you maybe have like auto aim on?
Maybe that was it. Auto aim was on, and I think I took it off because it was just like ridiculous.
When I play a game, the first thing I do is turn it off, and if I can't aim, I'll turn it back on.
Because I think it was in 4. I think it was like too strong or something.
Well, actually,
something like that.
Red Dead's another example of that. Is like people play that, so when you pull the trigger, it immediately just or Grand Theft Auto, doesn't matter, the same one. It'll immediately like fully aim to the enemy, and it's like that is so stupid. Why would you even want to play it that way? Unless you simply, I mean, if you're not good at shooters, that's one thing, right? But like, God, screw that. I want to aim myself.
Right. But, Yep. For sure.
Baden actually did not say what I thought he was going to say. Because I left him a window here, and he didn't do it. He said Dying Light with survival mechanics like hunger and thirst could have been super cool. So he kind of copied me, but added a different game.
Yeah.
But I'll allow it because it would make sense in Dying Light. I was like, if Baden sees this, he's 100% going to say Bloodborne needs to have a sequel or something like that, right?
Yep.
And he did say I was going to say Bloodborne would go to 60 FPS. It's a good thing he did though, because that doesn't count. That's not a mechanic. That's technical.
He did say I was going to say Bloodborne. Yeah.
And then about an hour ago, Silken It came in with FF9 with clear, obscure defensive actions. I would extend that to saying probably most turn-based RPGs to an extent would benefit from that, but obviously it does fully change the balance of a game if you can do that. But, And they said, and a more predictable trance system, but I'm confused by that because I thought trance was just his limit break.
Yeah, I quickly looked it up and I was like, am I forgetting trance or something? But I
remember Zidane's limit break is called trance.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what was not predictable about it?
I don't know.
I am not saying Silken it's wrong. I just don't.
Oh no, I'm sure he's right. I just don't remember it for some reason. Or maybe I just never used it because I didn't like it. I don't know.
And then I'm going to call. I'm going to throw a flag on the field here for Baldwin's answer, because Baldwin did go with what I would technically consider to be a technical issue, but he said I might think of a better answer later, but just to have one, Dark Souls 2 with more than an omnidirectional movement. I would call that a technical thing, like something on the technical side. So I'm going to say that's a no good kick. Turnover on downs to the defense.
But we get you. It would be nice, yes, but we get you.
Doesn't mean it would make it better, but it was not the spirit of the question.
So Silken said, yeah, limit break. No, it was called trance in English, right?
I believe it was only trance for Zidane. I believe it was called something different for each character. I think that game, unlike everything else, had a different name for each character.
Yeah.
His was Zidane's was trance. Dagger / Garnet and Echo. I think that isn't that how you summon. I don't think you can summon normally. I think it has to be the limit break, right? Or am I wrong about that? I've not played this game in like 20 years. So
it's been a while. And now that you're thinking
I really don't remember as much about it as I thought I did. But
yeah,
and like
I just remember, I just know I liked it, and I really want a remake. That's what I know.
I brought it up on yesterday's episode of XCast.
Oh, did you?
Or X Button. Damn it. The damn channel name and podcast name are so similar. I always get them backwards. X Button. I brought it up on X Button.
Let's see. Baldwin
3 years. Get out of here, Silken. It's been 20 for me.
To be fair, I didn't notice it until someone pointed it out. That would kind of suck, like playing Dark Souls or any game, and then you don't notice something until someone points it out and then like kind of ruins it for you, I guess. I don't know. Oh God.
Yeah. So that was all of our answers because somebody.
No, I got mine.
I cannot do this. God damn it. So, somebody. Okay, there we go. I guess we're pointing at my computer and then it comes to you. There we go. Somebody didn't answer it, so.
No, because I usually just say it on here. So mine, I was thinking about it. And I was thinking, I was throwing things out there like Skyrim, but with like Kingdom Come battle, like at combat. But then I was thinking about lately, and a game I absolutely love. Well, or I love both of these games, World of Warcraft and Star Wars Galaxies. Now, housing is finally coming to World of Warcraft, which is great.
Oh, it only took them 30 years.
Right, yeah. And from what I've seen, it looks cool, that's great. Just something else to sink my goddamn time into. But Star Wars Galaxy to this day has the best player housing and economy coming from player housing that I've ever played. Like, it was just go anywhere you want in the planet except for basically inside cities, and you could just build a mansion, a house, and you could hang things however you wanted.
So it's not like Final Fantasy 14 where there's a massive housing crisis, like
right? No,
like San Francisco on steroids.
Yeah, no. So and Warcraft, I'm assuming, is going to be like an area that you have like a house that you just walk up to, and it's everybody's house type of thing, and when you go inside, it's just different for you. And I know I'm really going to want Star Wars Galaxy housing in basically any MMO, not just World of Warcraft, but that's what I want.
Every time you talk, it's more and more obvious why you don't have time to play Hollow Knight.
It's World of Warcraft.
That's like three MMOs now that you got actively going on.
I wish Galaxies was still around, but goddamn Sony.
But it actually, I thought it was still running.
You on like private servers and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Every time I play World of Warcraft, I hate myself a little bit because
I hate you too every time you do it.
It's such a time sink, as you know, Baldwin knows it too. Is like at bare minimum you're putting in about 6 hours at bare minimum a week, and then you've got to do dungeons and that. And I have fun with it, yes, but I'm probably dumping in probably about between 15 to 20 hours a week into this game, and I'm like, I could have beaten my backlog, but goddamn World of Warcraft. And like, I really want to get heavier into Final Fantasy 14, but that's not happening with 2 MMOs at the same time. So it's just like, god damn it. It's definitely a love-hate, but I love WoW because of the group of people. Like, I've made friends with Baldwin, friends with other people in there, so that's where I stick around. And I do enjoy the game, but I wouldn't hit it as much.
Not to cut you off. I don't know why. There's something I wanted to say early in the episode, and I never got the window, and I ended up forgetting about it. I do want to send some love out to our friend Ellery. Kind of going through some stuff right now. Just want to say we're thinking about you, buddy.
Yep, we're here for you. Reach out.
I meant to say that very early in this episode, and we kind of got sidetracked, and I never got back to it. So, yeah, I just want to let them know that we got them.
Yeah, always. Right, always. Yeah. And yeah, Baldwin in chat. Maybe a hot take, but I often wish WoW would crash and burn or do something that drives off most of the player base, so I can maybe convince some of my guildies to try Final Fantasy 14. I think about that every week, Baldwin.
I wish WoW and Fortnite both. I wish every computer that has any amount of saved data of those games would spontaneously combust and be completely non-recoverable, and thus the games were gone forever.
There was a time a few months ago where I booted up WoW and none of my stuff was there. My characters were gone.
Did you feel free?
For half of me was like, oh my god, literally years of work gone. And then a part of me was also like, yeah, am I free? Because I'm not redoing this. I am not redoing this.
You know what that sounds like, Clint? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a genuinely abusive relationship that you are in. Like
I feel
one that you're afraid to leave because you don't know if that person will come after you and murder you in your sleep.
Blizzard's coming.
Except here's the funny part. That's a game, and it's a game you can stop without repercussion, real repercussion.
It needs me. God, yeah. But I was just under the wrong account, so I was like, oh, I'm fine. Shit. Dang.
I tried to play WoW back in the day, and WoW wouldn't let me play it. And to this day, I'm like, that might be the best thing that game.
Probably a good thing. Probably a good thing.
But my dad had bought it, so I made a character on his account. When he would go to bed, I would play it because I was an unemployed bum, an 18-year-old bum. So I'd play it till like 4 a.m. And then one day out of nowhere, every time I would try to log in, I would get a blue screen of death. And it would say that you gotta remember this is like Windows 98, so things were quite different at that point. Yeah. I actually for weeks was talking to a Blizzard like IT guy to try to help me out, and I took like a picture of the blue screen of death that I was getting, and I told I was like, this only happens. I did, and he looked at it. He's like, well, that's very strange because he's like, basically what it's telling you is that there's a PCI port conflict or something like that is what it was. Like he's like, it's basically saying that like there's two pieces of hardware running off of the same port, which he's like, clearly that is not true if your computer is working. He's like, and I was like, well, I guess I'm just not playing. And afterwards I'm like man, I was trying to jump into a volcano and somebody kept catching me with a net and taking me out, and I kept trying to jump back in. Somebody up above was looking out for me.
Looking out for you, Christ. Oh, well, on that note, before we get on to something else, I'm going to talk a little bit about PAX, and then we'll go into like Doom and other stuff. So yeah, I was lucky enough to go to PAX for one day this week, or last week. And while it was awesome, the best thing about it was I actually got to meet Silkenet, who's always been a fan of the show.
Your picture was on last week's episode.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah. So that's awesome. Silkenet was awesome. Spent the day together, broke bread together for lunch, all that good stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Did you break baguette?
That's what we didn't. But yeah, I went to PAX East. It was the last time I went, it was on a Saturday. I am super glad I went on a weekday because it was way less busier.
Yeah, I'm sure Saturday and Sunday is probably insane.
Saturday was like, at least when I went, I believe Silken, it was there the entire 4 days.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
that said, cool. I also want to give props to Silken. And I know there were definitely a few moments where there were things that were invisible to you, and he had to explain that it was a Hollow Knight item. Like it's why you looked there and all you saw was like this black
it was funny because.
It looked like a void. There was a void there, and you couldn't understand
There's
why.
Something I'm
and
he had to through.
Yeah, he had to explain. He's like, "Oh, that's Hollow Knight. That's why you can't see it."
We'd be like seeing like custom controllers with Hollow Knight on it, or a poster, or just whatever. And I would literally go to Silken and I'm like, I gotta take a picture of this to send to Rick because I knew it was just gonna egg you on.
Well, when you said the controller, I think my answer was he probably had to try to explain what that missing one in the middle was to you.
Oh god. So yeah, the first thing we did is
it's a bummer I wasn't there. I think we'd had a good time.
Oh, for sure. The first thing we did was we went to the Dune Awakening area, which was super cool. They had like a giant sand room there, and we waited in line, not for long, thankfully. Got to play that for about 15 minutes, so that was awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. I totally fangirled, like K-pop fangirled out, because I had my Dune t-shirt on, or my jersey on. And there was some of the
you sent me a text that might as well have been written in code. You're like, I got on the side. I'm like, what thing? You're like, Dune. I was like,
so
what are you talking about?
I was so excited.
And then you sent a picture of yourself wearing a Dune shirt where there was no signatures because they must have been on your back or whatever. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, so while we're waiting in line, there was a girl there from HR, and I was like, hey, are some of these people here devs, or are they all just like, hired hands, or, to help out? And she was like, oh no, some of them, they're not like, higher up devs or anything like that, but like the audio design dev and other things, vehicle designer and stuff. And I was like, do you think you guys could sign my jersey? And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, sure. So she took me around to like each person and they signed me. And the guy, they were all like super excited about it and stuff. So huge shout out to the Funcom devs. There was a guy that did the audio sound work for that. And he like wrote his name and then he drew some headphones next to it. He's like, so I'm the audio guy. And he was like super excited. He's like, no one ever asked me for like my autograph for a game and stuff. So it was super cool. So I definitely like fangirled with that. So that was fun. And then we never got into the Elden Ring because it is instantly taken up. Like every time slot was taken up as soon as we got there. So I don't know if Silkenet got in.
I said Silkenet had other opportunities, but I thought he can correct me. I thought he said he mostly did panels after that first day.
Yeah. And there was a lot of indie booths there, which was cool.
That's kind of what PAX is best for, typically.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed, because I hadn't been for a long time, the last time I was there, like Sony and Xbox were there. It was like it was much bigger for main names.
I don't know if they were ever at East. They were at Prime, weren't they? Which is
no, they were at East. It was at,
were they really?
Because they were showing off Star Wars Connect there. When I went, it was for the 360.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah, it was, like the 360 era was when I went last. So yeah, one of the coolest things on there though was Magic the Gathering had a pretty big area. And
I think Baldwin asked you about that earlier, didn't he?
Caleb did.
Oh, Caleb did. Okay, I thought Baldwin.
And I sent him pictures of it because he's a huge Final Fantasy fan and a Magic the Gathering. He actually, Caleb does like tournaments and stuff for the Magic the Gathering, like higher up enough so he.
Caleb, you must not like having money.
That's well, he actually wins money and wins PAX.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but he probably also doesn't like money because
Well, if you like Magic the Gathering, you don't like having money in your bank account.
Pretty much. So we walked by and I was like, I think I almost grabbed onto Silkenet and I was like, dude, you looked over and it was like there was like a couple booth areas, and there was one where it had Midgar as the backdrop, and you could hold the Buster sword and you could take a picture, and the music was going and stuff. And then right next to it was Aerith's church with the flowers and stuff, and you could hold a basket with it and take a picture.
You guys missed a golden opportunity. You took the picture of the Buster sword. You should have gone over and done a kneel down and pray in the.
We really should have. We really should have. So that was super cool, but I didn't go to any of the panels. They had some stuff in cases of like the rare cards and stuff, or for the Magic the Gathering panels. Okay. I didn't go to because I think those were on the weekend. I think maybe Friday as well. So I didn't go to them. And granted, I'm not a huge Magic the Gathering player, but at the same time, I wanted to go because they were talking about Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering, just so I could hear about Final Fantasy in it. So we really didn't. There was a lot of like vendors there for clothing,
tchotchkes, yeah.
Clothing, custom controllers, and the custom controllers, while they were cool, super expensive. Like the cheapest ones you could find were like 180
because people were painting them. That's why.
Yeah, but they didn't even have like fancy sticks. What do they call it? Like
nubs. Yeah.
No, like anti-drift sticks or whatever. You know, like the Turtle Beach controller has.
Well, they wouldn't. I mean, the ones you said.
But you would think for paying that amount of money, you would have something better. But no, it's just the Hall effect. Thank you. I know it's a custom controller, but 180 was just.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the ones that you sent me. Obviously, you may have seen ones you didn't send me. I don't know.
Yeah.
The ones that you sent me were just regular controllers that people painted.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're not going to have all that shit.
I know, but it should.
They're not selling them because you're planning to use them. You're going to display them.
I know. I was thinking about
who gives a shit if it has all effects.
I was like, if these people use the painted ones, like, how good is it painted? Like, is it going to wear off? I'm sure it is. Yeah, because they had some really good ones like Alien and stuff like that, and I really wanted them, but not for that cost. But there was definitely some really cool stores there, vendors, of course, tons of D&D stuff.
Yeah, there always is. Even that small one around me, man, half of it's D&D shit.
Yep. And then we got to go to the panel for Mafia Old Country, which was super cool. We got a Mafia pin that is now worth like, I think almost $100 on eBay now. I looked it up and it's like literally was worth $69 like instantly. And then I think it's now up to like 100.
There really is a dark circle in hell for eBay CEOs.
It's crazy. So we went in there. Greg Miller was the panel host. There was 3 gentlemen from the devs. I think one was the president of the company. One of them was the art director, and I believe
of Hangar 13. I assume you mean.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And I can't remember the other guy. Silken it might remember,
but
it was like
a writer.
Maybe I can't
like a narrative director or something. Maybe
that might have been it.
Usually that's what you have in those.
Yeah. So Greg Miller was panel host. He was super cool. He was super great at it.
He's host. I'm not a particularly large fan of him, but he is an undeniably good like host for those kind of things. Yeah.
So we got to see a gameplay trailer that I think came out the same like an hour before.
It came out at 11 a.m. I think that panel was at 1, wasn't it? So it came out 2 hours before.
And then we also got to see like quick snippets of like the cast talking.
Oh, okay.
And then of the characters. So we saw more gameplay there. We saw some extra gameplay of just random things. So that was cool. They were you could tell that they really passionate about the project and the series in general. So definitely looking forward to it for sure. And at the end of it, they had a special a special skin. So everybody that was there got a skin for one of the weapons in there. So that was cool. I think that was the first video game panel I've gone to. So it was a good first one. That was fun. I liked it. So yeah, I would like to, that's pretty much when we walked around, got food. I don't think we really played anything else, just because there was just so much to see at vendors and stuff. So we just kind of walked around, saw stuff. So yeah, I'd like to go for 2 days next time or something like that to sit in the actual panels and stuff. But it was fun. It was good. And
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it does happen and I get up there, you ain't doing 2 days. You're doing 4, just so you know.
Yeah, I mean, if I know for
I'm
sure,
not going up there by myself. I mean,
yeah, if I know for sure that like more people are coming and we can all, I'll definitely go the full 4 days for sure. Especially if we can make it a plan, and then we can get like a hotel room together or something, or an Airbnb or something for a house or something.
Spooning now because we're going to PAX together.
No, if we get a house or like an Airbnb, that's why I said Airbnb, because I mean, we gotta save corners. We're not big time here yet, so we gotta save money. But yeah, it was a good time. Definitely enjoyed it, but like the highlight was being able to meet Silkenit and hanging out with him. That was super awesome.
I was very, very green with envy when you started sending me pictures. I'm like, I don't give a shit about PAX, to be honest with you. I was like, damn, I wish I was up there.
Yeah,
just to hang out. I don't care. I don't care about the event whatsoever. But I was like, man, I just wish I was hanging out up there.
Yeah, and it made the event funner having Silkenit there. My daughter was there too, and it was just fun being able to hang out and like nerd out over stuff. Whereas last time I went by myself, and I was just like, cool.
Yeah, and like I said, if I do manage to get up there, we got to make sure that your daughter's there, because I have to give her a very serious lecturing about the order of The Last of Us and the quality of it, because she's very mistaken as to the correct order.
Because of the panel, she actually started playing Mafia last night because she was like so like inspired or whatever, because she was like seeing how passionate they were and how they explained how they make the game and stuff. She was like, I really want to play this now. So she started playing the first one last night, which was cool.
The only problem with doing that, and I totally approve of her doing it because I love those games, is there would be a pretty sharp drop off when you get to 2, because it's not the more modern style like Definitive Edition and 3 are, but
yeah,
still they're so, I love those games. Don't forget too, Mafia 1 and 2, Daniel Vavra. That was, it's not where he got started, but it's where he really I think they were the first ones where he was like the creative director, and it's where he kind of learned that people liked more period authentic stuff.
Yeah. It's
obviously ended up going in
so good,
creating Kingdom Come.
But definitely looking forward to Old Country for sure.
Yeah, but off the top of my head, of everything left that's coming out this year, there's a lot coming out this year. It probably is. Between it and Yote are probably my most anticipated games for us. Well, I keep forgetting Metal Gear. Metal Gear is obviously number 1, but that's not even fair to compare to Metal Gear.
Right, yeah.
But if you take Metal Gear out of the equation, actually Death Stranding 2 is probably there, then probably Mafia and Yote.
God, there's so many games to
think of this. Think of this. We are now 3 weeks from Switch 2. 4 weeks, or actually 3.5 from Death Stranding. We're 3 months from Metal Gear. There's something in July, and I can't think. I know Donkey Kong, but I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. And by the time Metal Gear hits, it's an absolute avalanche by that point. So like,
yeah, and that's
you better quit WoW now, buddy, because you ain't gonna have time to play it.
And that's just games that like you're interested in. I'm interested very much in like Borderlands 4 and stuff, and that's coming out in September.
I know you're that, and you're super hyped for Dune. I don't know where the hell you're gonna find time to play Dune.
I don't know.
That's not a game you're gonna be able to play for 2 hours.
No, so. and I really liked Dune, and I didn't get to play the beta much, but I did play it a little bit.
That's not what I was thinking of stoking it, but I think you're right. I actually think that the Lies of Peace DLC is in July, and that's not even what I was thinking about
too. God,
and then that's awesome.
You had mentioned it earlier, and you had texted me the other day. It's like Outlaws got an update, Stalker 2 got an update. Not much for me right now, but Avowed got a pretty decent sizable update. And it's like all these games I want to play, and they're like in the backlog. I'm like, I need to stop buying games. And I like, Jesus Christ, God, like I want to play these games, especially with these new updates.
And actually,
Kingdom Come had DLC and an update. So it's like shit.
just because there is so much, I actually am going to show some restraint. But something I didn't mention when I was on the what you're playing, I did actually try the demo for Blades of Fire.
And how is that?
That's a solid game to buy when it's like $40.
All right,
and
cool.
it's I'm not saying it's not worth 60 because actually it's a $60 game, not
right.
70.
But just with so much,
but there is so much other shit, and it is. I would call it a high AA game as opposed to AAA.
Cool.
But there is some cool ideas in that. That said, I don't know if you've seen like the actual like forging of weaponry is like a major part of that game.
Yep.
I don't understand it for jack shit. And I talked to somebody who I know is reviewing it, and they said they don't understand it either.
I meant to download the demo, but
it's like there's a lot to it. You start with like the very first thing that it makes you forge is basically like a two-handed. I guess it'd be like a big warhammer, and so like that's obviously pretty simple because you do it in the very beginning, but it has you choose like it's pretty cool how it works because you'll choose like for the head of it or whatever, you'll choose I want it to be like this or I want it to be like this, and that'll affect its stats. It'll affect then since it's you affect how long the handle is or whatever, which will adjust how heavy it is, how long the reach is. But it'll also affect how much what do you call it, like bludgeoning damage or whatever. But you might get more like it's hard to describe, right? But where it gets real weird is then when you actually. But also, I'm sorry, I skipped something. When you're doing this, you actually will pick the type of like metal that you're using, right? And again, the first one you don't have much to pick from. You basically pick what it's giving you. But it's like if you use this one, it might give you better stamina. If you pick this one, it gives it more powerful attack, whatever. Then the part I'm supposed to be talking about is after you've selected all your parts and finished your plan, if you will, then he throws it in the forge or whatever, and then you do the hammering. That is the part that I can't figure out what the hell you do, because you actually like move the sticks to increase the amount of strength that you hit it with and the angle that you hit it with and stuff like that. But there's this rhythm to it because we're not rhythm, sorry. When you move it along the like bar, you get these things that looks like a what do you call it in a music player where the things are going up and down?
Equalizer.
Equalizer. Yeah. It'll look like an equalizer. Now they're not moving, but when you move it, it will move them. And it says something about like you try to get it to line up with the shape of what it's really weird. I couldn't understand it at all. But it seems like a cool idea, and the better you do at it, apparently the better it works.
That's cool.
It does have a pretty unique combat system too. So the best way I can describe this is take God of War and Kingdom Come, throw them in a pot together, and sprinkle with a little bit of Souls. It's not a Souls game, but it has like the whole Souls like respawning enemies, and you die, you revive there, and all that shit, right? But what's really interesting about it, and it's bizarre at first, you don't attack with like the triggers. You attack with the 4 face buttons, but the button that you press is what direction you attack from. So if you press square, you're attacking from the left, circle from the right, triangle is overhead, and X is like kind of up or whatever. And you can hold each one for like a power attack, so that. And it's a little funky. It's a little funky.
Yeah.
But when you kind of like get the grips of it, it's like, okay, this actually is a cool idea.
Yeah.
And then depending on what the enemy's armor is, it'll tell you if like you might have a weapon that has 2 or 3 stances. They don't all. They might just have one. But like for the sword, for example, you have the bladed edge or you have the tip. So you'll go between like a stabbing attack or a slashing attack, and different attack types will be effective against different enemy types like that. Yes. So I'm gonna just put it. What's really bizarre is L1 is your dodge, or your dodge, or if you double tap it, your roll. L2 is your block, and I'm so used to having that L1 I could probably deal with, but I'm so used to having like that. That's so backwards for me, and it is weird. But the reason is because it's trying to keep your right fingers free.
Right.
Like you almost really have to lock onto enemies because that's how you're obviously you're using the face buttons, and then you press and hold R2 to cycle through your weapons. So it's interesting. It's different. I'm not saying it's bad, but it takes because it's just completely contradictory to what you're used to doing.
Right.
But there are some cool ideas in there, and I'm interested to see where it's gonna turn out in the. But because one thing I have to say, what's really weird is R1 is basically your like interact button. Because again, it's trying to keep your thumb on the D-pad buttons, or not the D-pad buttons, the face buttons. But yeah, there are some really interesting ideas in this, and also bless them for not feeling like they had to use friggin' Unreal Engine 5. It uses whatever Mercury Steam's proprietary engine is. It uses that, and I mean, it's not going to friggin' win any graphical awards, but it actually does look kind of cool. Like, you remember how when Kingdoms of Amalur came out, it really wasn't technically that impressive, but it had like a cool art style. I would say this is kind of like that. Like, it's serviceable on the technical level, but it actually does have some like like artistic like design to it, which is cool. So try the demo. The demo's
I do want to, for sure.
I did tell Alex that I was like, I don't want to play the demo because I don't want this game.
Right. Yeah. I do feel bad for that game though. Like, even I've heard good press about it. I've heard good press on it, and I've heard people enjoy the demo, but I feel like that's gonna be it's dead on arrival. It couldn't it probably could launch at a worse time, but I can't see one right now. So it sucks. So hopefully, I hope it does well.
Nevertheless, though, if you are specifically in the mood for a kind of God of War, like 2018 Ragnarok type of thing, take a look at this, because it actually fits that mold pretty good. Like actually, if he ends up watching, I was about to say Luke should try it. Luke did say he actually was playing it. I guess I don't think he's doing a review, but he got a review copy. So he is playing it.
Yeah. And then I just also wanted to throw out real quick, Freight Conductor had mentioned that Helldivers 2 sounds so good, but I haven't jumped back in yet. They just had like a content drop too of like Super Earth being attacked, and some new DLC, and also I believe they added it in now so that you can like Call of Duty, not with skins, but you can like change colors and unlock colors for your weapons and capes, or more so than usual now. So, or you can mix and match colors or something like that. So yeah, there's more content there too. So it's just like, Jesus, it's just so many. There's so much.
Also, I guess I really haven't talked about Doom.
I know. I figured we go into Doom.
Okay.
Now, actually.
Gotcha.
So I'm playing Doom on PC through Game Pass. I think I am on Chapter 5, the end of Chapter 5, where you're riding the dragon, taking down the hell ships.
Okay,
I think that's 5, or is that 6?
You are. I think it is 5. So you are basically just ahead of me, because I am at the door to ride the dragon, but I have not done so yet.
Okay. Oh, Freight says change sites and attachments. Yeah, so there's stuff to unlock more on Helldivers, and it's like, God. And I love Helldivers. It's fantastic, but like, Jesus, there's so much. So I played Doom. Thankfully, I wasn't part of the early access on PC where everybody was having a lot of troubles with it crashing. I did actually have it crash once today on me, but it wasn't as bad as from what I've been seeing.
Yeah, that first day or two, people weren't even able to keep it
really
playing
rough
for more than like a half hour at a time.
Yeah, I heard it was really rough. It runs fantastic on my machine so far, and Christ, what was I going to say? But it's had 2 updates on PC, and as well as an NVIDIA driver update. So they're definitely updating it fast, which is good. So. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I was just going to say, times are rough when an id game has a rough PC launch.
Yeah.
Because that is their bread and butter.
Yeah, and you had said that in a text too, and I was like, man, I remember Doom 3 not running well, but that wasn't its fault. It was the fact that it was a huge...
Like, actually, it did run well. It was just...
Oh, did it?
There really was not a PC made at the time.
Yeah, there just wasn't anything. It's like Crysis when it came out. Nothing could run it.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's actually that like they have done a remarkable job of making id Tech extremely scalable.
Yeah.
And well optimized to most platforms. The competitor platform being the somewhat exception to that, but
yeah.
So I'm playing on Xbox, which I had always planned to do because that's where I played 2016 and Eternal. Looks great. I'm perfectly happy with performance. I think Digital Foundry said it has a couple drops throughout the game, but there's a handful of them. Like, it runs pretty locked most of the time. Whereas, like I mentioned about PlayStation, actually does. Well, I don't know about PS5 base, but PS5 Pro does have some frame rate drops because for some reason they pushed a higher resolution on the Pro without using PSSR. It just uses whatever either the native, upscaler built into the engine is, or whatever. However, that creates issues because the Pro does not have it has a slightly more powerful processor, but not enough to speak.
Not
of.
enough to, not enough to explain that.
Yeah. So instead of increasing the like texture detail and letting the GPU carry the load, they increase the resolution, and it runs at a like 800p minimum, whereas Xbox like 1260 or something like that, which is still pretty damn good, actually. Like that's a pretty solid like baseline resolution. But PS5 Pro, I guess, runs at a minimum of like 1800p or something to that effect. However, that then puts all the extra power on the CPU, which is not better.
You're
right. So like you're actually taxing something that is minusculely improved as opposed to the GPU, which is what is improved. So it was kind of a weird decision to do it the way that they did it. However, in terms of the game, it is good. I am a little undecided to where exactly I fall on it. I would say, as of now, I count myself as a little bit disappointed. Not because it's bad, because it's not bad at all. It's still good, but boy, when you play Eternal right next to this, Eternal is just a better game in every way. But this does do some cool stuff. It's actually kind of funny how it translates the different weapons and stuff like that into the more like medieval style thing.
Yeah.
They're medieval, to be clear. Argent Daenerys medieval.
Right,
Not Earth's medieval, because in medieval times we did not have shotguns and laser rifles. Whereas Argent Daenerys did at that time. And I think that the Saw shield thing is definitely cool as hell.
Yeah.
But man, they leaned way too heavily on it, I think.
And that's where I'll go into is like, you can upgrade your weapons in this. There's like a little skill tree for each weapon and stuff like that. And I have dumped all my money and rubies or whatever that you get into shield and your fist, because it is just so overpowered.
I hate the fist, so I won't even upgrade that until I'll maybe do it once I get the flail, but I hate the fists.
That's true.
I cannot wait to not use them. And then you do get a third melee weapon, which is apparently a spoiler, so you know what it is. It's the Crucible, basically.
Yeah.
Like my guess is, and this is not a spoiler because I don't know, if you played fairly far to Doom Eternal, when you get the Crucible, my guess is that's where this game ends. You probably fight a Titan on foot, and you probably kill it by shoving the Crucible into its chest. And that's probably the one that, or at least that's at the end of the game. I'm sure that'll be in this game. I have very little doubt about that.
Yeah. But I think you have mentioned it in text and stuff back and forth, and I agree with you too. Is that I think I'm playing on, it's like the third difficulty down.
Oh my god, that's
I gotta push it up because it is.
I have it on Nightmare. I have it on Nightmare, and I there's the like the settings that the sliders you can adjust.
Yep.
I turned parry timing all the way down, which still gives you a very, very wide parry window, so it's not like that's that big of a deal. I turned it. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Enemy aggression is already at the highest for Nightmare, but I also turned like pickup value or whatever it's called all the way down. So, but like basically, the health orbs don't do as much.
Yep.
And I will say I am dying on occasion, but
which is good.
This is not like a flex. I don't mean it like that at all.
Right.
That is a genuine complaint about this game, because something about the Doom has always had since day one is a very good level of scalability. You can turn it to be easy if you are not good at shooters.
Sure.
Or you can make it that it is extremely difficult. And that has always been one of the major allures of that series. And they went so far on the much, much easier side. Like, so I played 2016 and Eternal on Ultra Violence, which it typically says that this is the intended difficulty. But It is the hard difficulty. It's just it's what they scaled the game at, right? Now that said, anybody that played Eternal knows that ultraviolence on Eternal is fucking hard. That game is really freaking hard. The easiest level of that on ultraviolence is probably still harder than the most difficult thing that I've seen in this so far.
And I was playing around with the whole parry scale. I had turned it down like halfway, and I was like, let's just see how this is. And like, I would put the shield up
in that game, so
it's crazy. I would put the shield up, and it would be up for literally like a second, maybe more, and then it would hit the green, and it would still go back. And I was like, it almost was throwing me off.
Even if you are somebody who is not good at parry timing, I strongly suggest you turn that window way down. I'm not exaggerating. It is genuinely a ridiculously huge window.
And like I liked Eternal, however, it was a little bit too combo faced and for me.
It's very complicated.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like, if you watch, it just looks like absolute carnage. But the reality is that there is a lot going on in that carnage.
Yeah, that took away from Doom Eternal for me. It's a fantastic game, but it didn't rank it up there super high for me. But now they went almost too far back from that. They should have done a happy medium. But
in certain areas, I actually do agree that it probably does feel more akin to like actual classic Doom.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, but there's certain areas where I think they kind of missed the mark. But I am early, right? I don't know, maybe halfway.
Yeah, I'm only chapter 5, so
I do like it. I do like it. I don't want to say
gameplay wise, I'm having a blast.
It's still it. I mean, it is.
I'm
still,
not being challenged, and that sucks.
Yes. I do wish they'd have just. I wish they'd have just tuned it differently. And like, again, I have no problem with being able to set it to easy. Like, I don't want it to come across like that.
Right.
It's just I want it to be able to be set so that I can set it on an ultra violence, where it is. You know, I'm getting through battles by like the skin of my teeth. Like, that's genuinely like where you want that to be. Because in general, like, no matter what your skill level is, that is where you should be setting Doom at. Like, if you turn it on, they changed the names, but it used to be called Please Don't Hurt Me or whatever. That used to be.
Yeah, I was like, Don't Hurt Me, Daddy. And stuff
if you set it on that and you're just easily getting through the challenges, you have it set too low.
Up it up a bit.
You should be able to get through the difficulties, or the combat encounters, but it should challenge you. Like you should be just barely squeaking by, right? Especially some of the bigger ones. And here it's just really not that. And I do wish they'd have tweaked that. And Nightmare is basically the highest difficulty. There's Pandemonium and there's Ultra Nightmare, but all they are is variations of Nightmare. Ultra Nightmare is essentially what do they call that? Permadeath mode. So you die at it, right? And then Pandemonium is kind of a halfway point where, you know, those 1-up lives that you get. When you die, you use one of those to revive. But
which I haven't used a one of those yet.
I have almost allowed myself to die so that I can use them. Because I've been. There's also a lot more of those than there ever was in Eternal. Or I don't know. Maybe I was using them more in Eternal. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But but then in Pandemonium mode, if you run out of that, then it's a permadeath mode. But I don't want to criticize it too much. Like, because it is good. I mean, the shooting still feels good. The sword itself is or not sword. I'm sorry. The shield itself is.
The shield is super cool.
The first level. This game also suffers from Doom 2016 syndrome, which is the first level is bad. Which I'm always amazed how many I don't hear people say that. I'm like, when I first played 2016, I'm like, this is not good. What's everyone talking about? But then a couple levels in, when you get an armament, that's when it really gets good. The first level is so basic and so simple. All you do is just shield bash everything. And all you have is the shotgun, but then you get the I forget what it's called, the nail gun or whatever. The second level is when you get the plasma rifle or whatever, it's the repeater or something like that. That's what it's called. And it gets a little bit better then. Like, you start to see, you know, the shields that you blow up. You start to see the plasma shields that you
going
shoot.
on.
And then, you know, but then you get the Atlan, which looks cool, but man, that's a missed opportunity and a half. because that is so basic what they did with that. That's the giant guy that you use.
Yeah, and I was gonna mention that too. Like
it looks awesome. It looks so cool, but man, they really made that way too simple.
Yeah, I was playing it last night, and I was like, Doom Mech is cool, and it is cool, but like it is so simple. You're literally
all you do
click,
is
left click,
punch, dodge, use your power attack, punch,
it's
dodge, power attack.
Yeah, there's no. It's cool, but I'm glad it was just like one level so far, because I can tell you right now, if that was like multiple levels in a row, I'm done, because
it does come back up, but I don't know how much. But it's definitely in the game more.
Right.
But I don't know if it's like sequential levels like that.
Yeah, and it's the same when it's the same thing when dragon riding. It's the
I really don't think I'm gonna like the dragon riding at all.
It's the same thing. Dodge, shoot, dodge, shoot, dodge. It's
yeah.
But just criticisms. The game is definitely a solid, like probably 8 for me right now.
Yeah, that's probably about where I am. Yeah. But that said, an 8 is very disappointing for me. Like for Doom, I should be at minimum 9+, and I'm really not right now.
I do like how it has a solid story so far, like an actual story.
Yeah, they did put a lot of effort. Did you realize who voices the commander chick? I forget her name.
No,
it's Deborah Wilson. You know who Deborah Wilson is? Listen, it sounds like her. What throws you off is almost every time when she voices somebody, they also facial model them after her. And this character, they do not.
Really?
Her name's like Commander Novak or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Or no.
I mean, they use her in Wolfenstein and stuff.
Correct. Yeah. She plays the head of the like the Black Resistance or whatever. In Wolfenstein too.
Okay.
Actually,
I'll have to listen to it more when next time that she talks. Huh.
Thera's her name. I'm sorry. Novak is the king. Yep. Wilson.
Interesting.
Like when you realize it, when you listen, it definitely sounds exactly.
I'm sure next time I hear it,
it's not seeing her throws you off, because anytime she voices somebody, they always facial model them after her, and she has a pretty distinctive look because she has like huge eyes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like she has very large and like almost bulging eyes.
Yeah.
But being as they did not model this character after her at all, it doesn't immediately like show up for you.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, probably an 8 for me right now. Could go up, could go lower at this point. I'm not sure. Especially with the upgrades. Who knows? Might get better with the flail. Who knows?
Is she really soaking it? Who does she voice in Death Stranding too? I didn't know that.
Oh, see, that's another game I really want to play. Death Stranding.
That's a very weird cast for Kojima. That's not the kind of voice actor he usually goes for. He usually goes for like actual actors, especially with Death Stranding. Doctor. Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's another game I gotta play. I gotta play Death Stranding before the second one, because the first one didn't grab me. The second one, it looks really good to me.
Oh yeah. You're right. So I totally forgot. Yeah, because there they did actually model her after Deborah Wilson. I totally forgot about this character. Yeah, and actually the early previews of Death Stranding 2 were like insanely positive too. Like to the point it's pretty clear this is going to be it's going to be a Game of the Year candidate, which I did not. I wasn't super surprised to hear, but it sounds like gameplay wise, it's fucking awesome.
Nice. So I'm like, that's good to hear. That's awesome.
Yeah, I guess the combat is really improved compared to the first one.
Ah, damn. Yep, I gotta play the first one. Son of a bitch.
That's a big one. That's a big release.
Anything else to add?
Very big too. No, not too much about Doom. Not too much else to say there.
All right. So let's go on to one of our other main themes. Good cover art. Now this is for games cover art, books, CDs, whatever. But I just want to throw out there, the worst art of all time for me is
Mega Man?
What's that?
Mega Man.
That one is pretty bad, but the one that I can't stand is Batman Arkham Asylum.
Why? What's wrong with Arkham Asylum? Are you thinking of Arkham City Collectors Edition, or not Collectors?
No.
Game of the Year Edition, because that was the one that was terrible.
The one that had like they had all the 10 game of the year.
Yeah, that was Arkham City.
Yeah,
Arkham Asylum was just like over his shoulder, like in the rain.
Yeah, no, Arkham City. Did I say
okay? You said Arkham Asylum. That's why I'm like, what was wrong with that cover?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, Arkham City. No matter which version of it, it had a bad cover art, but it was especially bad in the Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, it was just god awful. I should have. Why isn't my present screen not working? Hold on. There we go. Does that work? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Game of the Year edition of City. Yeah.
Just god awful. Just terrible. It's so busy.
And that's it. You take all the words out, and it's still a bad cover art.
It's still not very good.
And that's what I said. Arkham City, even not that version, was a bad cover art because it was like look up the basic Arkham City cover art because it wasn't good either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't good.
Probably the only thing that's going to come up.
Actually, no, never mind. That's not. That's not bad. Well, I don't know why I thought it was worse.
But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out.
Never mind. I'm thinking of the one on the Wii U. That's why the one on the Wii U is the one that's really bad. The Armored Edition. That's bad.
But what are some cover arts that you're thinking of?
I'm actually gonna change it up a bit here. I'm actually gonna give you a full series, but to me, bang for buck. Whether you like the games or not, there is no better cover art than the Kingdom Hearts series. Every one of them, the cover art is absolutely amazing. Even the shit games, the cover art is good. Probably my favorite is probably 1.5 HD's cover. I think I love that cover art. Hold on, actually, hold on, I'm wrong. Let's see if I remember correctly.
Yeah, those are all pretty good. Yeah. I do like the collection one where he's like sitting in the throne too.
That's 1.5. Yeah, that's 1.5.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh.
The all-in-one package?
Okay. So you're thinking of the 1.5 and 2.5 collection. They basically combined the covers for that. Him sitting on the throne with the which one you got there? Yeah. Oh, that's the all-in-one. Okay, I'm sorry. That's not the one I thought you were talking about.
Because if you look, I like that one.
If you look at, hold on a second, let me bring up the cover right here.
But yeah, they're all definitely some solid.
I mean, hold on a second. Keep that up. I'm gonna share my screen. So hold on 1 minute here.
I don't know if we can share screen at the if you can at the same time. Okay,
I'll take mine off. That is 1.5. See, like they take that. Or actually, I'm sorry. Like I was seeing the 1.5 and 2.5. They take that and then they change the back here because that's the two different games, right?
Gotcha.
And they kind of put 2.5s, which is like the antagonist hanging over, which also looks really good. But I like the simplicity of this one. Bring yours back up real quick.
Oh,
I was gonna... So is it 1, 2, 3, fourth one in? See the PS2 one? That's Kingdom Hearts 2. Basically that one right there. Yes.
Yep.
No, to the left. To the left. No, not that one. That one. That is Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. That is that's the version we didn't get in the States until we got the HD version. That is maybe my single favorite cover art of all time.
Really? It's good.
That's amazing. That's not good. That is amazing cover art.
It's
like, I mean, even look at those. Like when you don't look at like the fan made ones, right? On that you can see 2.8 HD. That's probably the least good. That's the one on the far left there, where he's wearing the red outfit.
Yep.
That one's not so great. But the one to its right is Chain of Memories. That's a good one. It's a little simple, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
To the right,
I do absolutely love the original.
The original ones. That one. The original ones is amazing.
I do like that one.
Like that's pretty close to Final Mix for me. And I'm sorry, the other one you had was 2 Final Mix. I didn't say that. The one that I said was maybe my favorite of all time. That's 2 Final Mixes. That's 3s. 3s is good as well.
3s is pretty good.
Although they started to put too many characters on it at the point of 3. But I love Kingdom Hearts' cover art. I think it's just absolutely amazing.
When you had mentioned like, oh, let's do it on any cover and stuff like that, there's one. There's a CD album there. Let me see if I can find it.
I mean, there's been a lot of good CD covers. I generally can't remember almost any of them, but there have been a lot of good ones.
I loved this one. That'll find it. Linkin Park's Reanimation. I love that album cover.
That was an awesome album too.
Even
though it was just remixes, it was so good.
Yeah, it was so good, but I loved this album cover so much.
Rest in peace, Chester.
Ugh.
The music world is worse off without you.
Yep. Facts.
Yeah, that's a good cover.
And then of course, like the Final Fantasy covers are fantastic. Even though they're minuscule type of thing, minimalistic.
Sevens is legendary. In its simplicity. Its simplicity is what makes it so good. And it's exactly why they made Remake have the same cover art. Because you can't change perfection.
Yep.
Or you can't improve on perfection is a better way to put it.
Let's
actually, I'll give you another one. Hold on. I'm not even going to tell you. I'm going to show you. I mean, you'll know what it is the second I show it to you. But
let me see. Let me just.
Can you figure it out by the typing?
Not quite yet. Is it going to be Metal Gear or something? Metal Gear PS1 had a great cover art. So did Tenchu.
You're almost there, actually. You were closer than I thought you would be. Which Metal
Tenchu
Gear?
had a really good one.
Which Metal Gear? It's me. What Metal Gear do you think it is?
It's going to be Delta.
No, I don't know what Delta's cover art looks like.
3.
That's correct. But specifically, Subsistence, because Subsistence's cover art is amazing, especially when you know what it means. After you finish Metal Gear Solid 3. God damn it, I can't find a good fucking one of just that cover.
Man, I'm gonna. What? This is not. Who is smoking on this goddamn article?
What?
I'm gonna pull this out. I just typed in random best cover arts, and there's a.
All right. Well, I'm gonna show this for selfish reasons, but it's also gonna have what I want.
Go ahead.
So to be clear, I have this. I have this. I'm one of the very few people on Earth that actually has the limited edition version of this. But specifically, that is Subsistence's cover art, and that's
pretty good.
Number one, Yoji Shinkawa. That's already a minimum 8 out of 10 score, right? But on top of that, again, when you have finished Metal Gear Solid 3 and you know what that means, right?
I can't wait for that to come out, dude. This is gonna be so good.
You have finished Metal Gear Solid 3 in the past, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because right in the feels. And then actually, I also liked how when you get those versions, when you get the little movie thing, this disc, which is what makes the limited edition, is not exactly it, but it's kind of a version of the original cover art for Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah.
It's not exactly it, but it's close.
Silkenet also said Metal Gear 1 back cover is legendary. Yeah, it was fantastic. It also had one of the codex codes in there too.
Well, I think that's why he said that.
Yeah.
It's maybe the only game in history that has actually used its cover.
So yeah, I'm just looking at this is Games Radar, the best covers of all time. What is this? I mean, Mario Brothers is classic. It's classic, but Gradius, okay. Zelda, very classic game. I've never liked the cover.
Yeah, I think there's some genuine biasism towards games they like here. And
Batman by Ocean.
That's a horrible cover.
Monkey Island. F-Zero.
Twilight's going absolutely insane about something out there. I'm sorry.
Contra 3 is pretty good. Not bad. Alien Breed. I mean, okay. Prince of Persia. Echo the Dolphin.
Echo the Dolphin is especially good because, as you know, it lures you into this sweet-looking game that's happy about dolphins, and then it kicks you in the friggin' teeth within the first 5 minutes.
Shinobi, Sonic and Knuckles, Ping the Dragon. I'm okay. Wipeout. All right. This Final Fantasy 7. The King of Fighters 98. Why is this on there? Is it just me?
Is what on
Ico. Yeah. Resident Evil 4, not bad. That's a good one. Never even heard of that one. Catherine, of course, that's on there. Until Dawn's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad list.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that list at all. At all. There's some good covers out there. Dead Space has an awesome cover with the hand floating. Speaking of Doom, the very first Doom, that's iconic as hell.
Hell yeah, it is. And I really liked how 2016 like kind of replicated it. I thought that was awesome. Actually, so did Doom 2. It was him fighting a cyber demon.
Yep. One's coming to mind. I think it was the first Borderlands where the guy was like shooting himself in the head, and it's like a screenshot coming out.
The second one was him doing both.
That's with the double. Yeah. So the Borderlands 1 and 2 cover.
Yeah, that was a good cover. I'm not a big Borderlands guy, but that was a good cover. Yeah. Even though it's not good for sales whatsoever, Resistance 3 had good cover art.
I was just going to say that.
Resistance. It was the Chimera skull. Yeah. But its teeth was a skyline of a city. I want to say New York, but I'm not sure.
Bring that game back.
Actually,
God damn it!
I'll give you another one, and it's a bit more simplistic, but I love the cover art to Killzone 1. Like just the Helghost, the Helghost mask. The Helghost looks so cool.
I love that.
I love the gas mask that they wear.
The whole thing, but
it looks like a Nazi uniform almost, but they wear like the gas mask. And god, they look so awesome.
It's one of the best enemy designs.
And the was it the STA-52? Was that the gun? That was just a cool looking gun too. So like that looked even better with them holding it. Oh yeah.
Man. Far Cry 3 was pretty good. Oh, that's my thing. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I might have one, but I'm trying to remember.
I'm trying to think of some book covers. I was trying to think.
I'll tell you a good one, but it's the original version. Valkyrie Profiles cover is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
With the artistry of Lenneth, and then the Valkyrie Profile logo. That's a cool ass cover.
Yep. I know I'm definitely biased, but Joe Abercrombie's every book of his covers are all insanely good. God,
I can't say I really even remember much in the way of book covers because I learned pretty fast. You can't really judge.
You can't judge a book by their cover art. Yeah. And that's very, very, that's probably one of the truest sayings ever.
Yeah, like when taken literally, it's quite accurate.
Yeah, because I have read books that I absolutely love that have had the worst goddamn cover art.
Who can do better? So can I don't know what that was a reference to.
You know what the book covers really sucked were the old Lord of the Rings covers back in the day. They were like from the 80s covers.
They were pretty simple. Oh, I thought you meant like the original ones.
They were like terrible, like characters dressed up. It was awful.
Did you ever see? It's The Hobbit, but did you ever see the? Is it like the Polish version where it makes Bilbo? Yeah. He's made out of corn. Did you ever see that one? Yes. What was that all about?
Oh my god, dude! Oh Christ!
I think it's Polish.
I wonder if I can find that. Yeah, those Lord of the Rings.
No, it's not the Polish one. That's not it.
It's gotta be the 80s. Yeah, it's like these ones right here. Yeah, these are the ones. Let me. Yeah, like The Hobbit.
Oh, okay.
They're just so bad.
Oh, actually,
I had The Hobbit.
This must be the French version because it's Bilbo La Hobbit. Is that the French version silking it? Because that's a horrible cover art.
La Hobbit. La Hobbit.
Look at that.
Oh no! Oh no!
He looks like he's made out of corn.
Yes.
Here we go. Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, what is that? What is that?
Look at the feet.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Is this how you guys freaking dressed in France back in the '80s, silking it? Because if so, I think we're gonna have to talk.
Oh god,
that's so bad. That is so bad.
Really, really bad.
And then actually, isn't that supposed to be? I assume that's probably Smaug.
Oh god!
And is that supposed to? Is that supposed to be?
Or maybe that's supposed to be Smaug.
No, that's a troll. That's a troll.
Okay, that's just a troll. Oh my god!
So that probably is Smaug.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
it's the cheap
we got
an edition for children.
we got to discuss this, man, because this isn't okay, man.
Scary.
This isn't okay.
Yeah, it's rough. That's rough. Yeah, like we've got the Aragorn before we got proper. It's just so bad. God. Yeah, that's why I remember bad book covers, not good ones.
You are right. It is way easier to remember the bad ones.
Yeah. It really is. God, not like game covers are really good. There's some good ones out there.
Because game covers, it's way harder to sell unless you have a good cover.
That's true. That's very true. Very true.
Actually, I will say I love it's. I guess it counts as the cover art. I love the cover art to Star Wars Episode 3. Just Obi-Wan and Anakin crossing lightsabers with Mustafar exploding in the background.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Oh, and I mean, I'd be remiss to not say Resistance 1. Resistance 1's cover art's awesome too.
It's fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing. Actually,
I was just going to say,
I didn't even think about it, but I looked over. I have that poster hanging. Another one. I love Crisis Core's cover art, where it's Zack from like the nose down, with the Buster Sword in the ground with Midgar in the background. That is amazing cover art. And I think I have it. I don't remember where I have it. For pre-ordering it back on the day on PSP, I actually got a special version where it's in like a black and white. It looks so good. I had it displayed somewhere. I don't remember where I have it.
Do you remember like the first? I think it was like the first 3 Call of Duties. It was like
it was always somebody pointing at the screen.
Somebody pointing the gun at you. It's like who is this guy shooting at? Like the enemy's over here.
When Call of Duty 2, it was the sergeant on Normandy, and he's like giving commands, and he's pointing.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. Something
but he's like it's like looking at you, but he's like giving a command.
Yeah. And then the third one tried to copy it, but it didn't work quite as well for one.
No, because you've got he's like this guy's like, who are you shooting at, dude? Like, what?
Well,
the tank's over here.
And the main guy looks like he's dropping a deuce right there. He's like, I gotta squeeze one off right now.
Oh man, Diablo had some good covers.
Only the first one. I know Silkman's gonna get mad because he has a crush on Lilith, but I did not like Diablo 4's cover art very much.
I liked Diablo. I'm sorry. Diablo 2's art was really good.
I just like the simplicity of the first ones. How it's just.
Do you remember
with Diablo himself behind it?
Do you remember the original Contra on the Nintendo? And it was literally just Predator. It was just the Predator characters on the front, basically.
I don't remember that very well.
Oh God. Yeah. So it's literally Dutch and the Indian.
Oh yeah.
Like straight up.
No, it's Arnold and Sylvester. It's freaking it's
straight up.
Yeah. And then there's basically Alien in the background.
Yeah, it was straight up fucking.
Also, definitely would be remiss not, even though it's kind of simple, not to call out how damn cool the original The City of Final Fantasy cover art is, where it's just on the left side it's all well actually it's the back art and the front art, and then when you open it, it creates the full image. It's all the villains and then all the heroes.
Yeah. More games with cover art like that, by the way, too, please. That if you open it up, it's like a full image. More of that, please.
I mean, it's fine if you do that reversible, but do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah. There's some other good ones here. I mean, Horizon was okay, but nothing that really.
I want to get behind me here.
I'm trying to think of what else. I'm just like randomly looking.
I will say, I like how when you take Last of Us Part 1 and Last of Us Part 2 cover arts and put them together, they actually kind of go together to make an image.
Yeah.
I actually think that's pretty cool.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. I'm trying to think. For me, maybe I know not for you. Final Fantasy Tactics. That cover is amazing.
No, that's a good cover. I don't like the game, but that's a good cover.
I love that cover. Okami, of course.
Oh hell yeah.
Yep.
I'm surprised we didn't summon Krista with that.
Maybe if we say Bloodborne, we'll get Baden in here.
Actually, I also like the cover art to Assassin's Creed 3. How isn't it Connor assassinating, presumably? No, actually, it wouldn't be him because he wasn't the one that assassinated Pitcairn. And that was Hamath. But yeah, that's good cover art. How it's just like him, like air assassinating
over the British, over the British soldier. Yeah.
Yep.
I loved 3. 3 was so good.
Massively underappreciated title.
Yep,
it had very bad pacing, but it was a great game.
Yep, so good, so good. Well, I think that's gonna do it for me. How about you?
I'm good. I'm actually.
I am out.
I ran out of drinks. So I need to get a drink here.
I am out of drink, and I'm also out of fortune cookies. I did not go to the store today.
Silking it. That ain't gonna fly now. That's twice.
I know, that's twice.
I got mine right here. So unlike somebody, I actually did my part.
It wasn't there a fortune cookie.
I'm also pretty sure that somebody still owes us some vinegar dipped fortune cookies.
Yeah,
I didn't forget. I didn't forget.
I know. I figured you didn't forget.
Your displeasure.
Let's go with the generator on here.
Soaking it. I think. I think now the punishment's going to get exponentially increased. Silking it, be very, very creative, my friend, because the punishment is going to be doled out and is going to be severe now.
My fortune cookie generator says humor is the affirmation of dignity.
Okay. It ain't going to save you any dignity when you're suffering your punishment.
Maybe I'll generate another one here. No, I don't like that one either.
And all I can say, Clint, is this is the one you should have got because this is speaking to you directly.
Oh, no.
Wish upon the next star you see for luck the next day. Because, buddy, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. So be ready.
Oh, God. Well, let's see. What's is next weekend Memorial Weekend?
Yes, it is.
So I won't be here for Memorial Weekend.
You won't
be here on Friday. Be going. Yep. I shall be gone. So I don't know unless we do one earlier in the week or
I can't. I'll be on X button.
Yep. Or we just push it later into. I'll be back like Monday night.
I'll probably have to get someone so we can do it on.
Yeah, we'll see what we can come up with. See what happens. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out with us and sharing your week with us and all, taking your time and all that jazz. Anything else before we leave, sir?
Did you think up a question of the week or no?
Oh, I didn't. I'll think of something else.
Man.
I'll think of
no fortune cookies, no question.
I'll
tell you what.
You
can post something in the Discord.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I'll have to think of something. Maybe something to do. Since we've got because I've got one already in my head. A game for it. Since we're heading into the holiday weekend, what game do you like to play most around certain holidays? Like, is there I'll have to word it better. Like a game that you associate with a holiday or something.
Massage that a little bit. I like the idea, but it needs to be.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a Christmas theme game in around Christmas. Like for me,
Silking it, trying to push the agenda here.
Favorite indie go. Like for me, when I think about Christmas time, it's always going to be Tenchu and Metal Gear Solid because it's two games that I got at the same time for Christmas. So I always think of those games around Christmas type of thing. So maybe I'll play around with that question, something along those lines.
And just think, moving forward, you'll be able to associate physical pain with Memorial Day because your punishment is going to coincide.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Get mean, soaking it. Get mean.
Maybe we have to like put some type of flavoring in the vinegar or something. Oh God, vinegar sounds awful already.
You should have to chug. You should have to chug a bottle of vinegar.
I would literally chug a bottle of vinegar over 2 chips with ketchup again. God, that was fucking horrible.
It might be time for a family pack of chips, every one of which eaten with ketchup.
Jeez Louise. On that note, folks, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Thanks again. Have a good one.
See you guys.